Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I have with me today the Aputure Mini 20C, but that's not what we're gonna be looking at. Today, we have the Aputure 60x, and we're gonna be unboxing it. Let's get started. So here we go. Always a good unboxing with a nice knife, so we'll start with that. Ooh, do you hear that? All right, we got the bubble wrap. And then inside a box, we have another box. So let's get that out of the way. And here's what the actual box looks like. So we have Aputure 60x, has a picture of it, and that's about it. So let's open this guy up. It's actually kind of comforting because I was thinking this is a very big box for what's supposed to be a Mini 20D successor. I mean, shouldn't it be mini? I don't know. That's just me thinking. All right, here we go. So be careful opening this with a knife because the handle is like right on top. You don't want to scratch that up. And right off the bat, we have a nice little case. Here we go, all Aputure branded. I wouldn't expect nothing different here. On the bottom, you have some like rubber knobs. So just to kind of keep it safe when you're setting it down, it's not gonna get caught on anything. Sometimes the fabric will get caught on stuff when you're setting it down. You have to worry about getting too dirty. So this looks nice, it's robust. It's got sturdy like framing in the sides. You can already feel that keep it pretty rigid. So that is all great. And it's even zip tied on the side to make sure, I guess, nobody's messed with it during shipping. So there's the case. We'll get this box thrown out of the way. All right, and then after you have this case, it definitely is a little smaller than the Aputure Mini 20. So if I just do a comparison, here is the case for the 60D because it's only one light. Now the Mini 20s actually come with a case like this, so much larger, but it holds three. This was from their 3 kit, so you can kind of see a size comparison there. Probably about half the width, but around the same length, maybe a little bit shorter. Yeah, Aputure makes great cases. That's one of the main reasons I love their professional line. But yeah, so that's the Mini 20 case. We'll get back to that in a minute. So when I open it up, first thing you see is obviously the light. Looks like we got some barn doors and stuff will open up. In the top lid, you get a convenient gel pack. We don't want that. And then you have the strap, decent sized strap. Everything's metal again, like it's pretty robust. The pins and the hardware is all metal, which is nice. And then it has a pretty nice sliding sleeve to put on your shoulder. So you get that, you get the product manual, and you get some stickers. All right, so I'll put that back in there. And we will tuck this back in to the pocket. And let's get into the accessories that you get with this. So we'll start out with this. Looks like a barn door mount. Again, all like a metal construction. You have a little toggle here that you pull down on. I'm assuming that's to lock the Bowens mount in place. This is one of the best things about these lights is they're Bowens mount compatible, which means we can mount softbox to it, any of Aputure's main accessories that go with their lights, the lantern, the light dome mini, both Mark 1 and Mark 2, all of those things kind of mount onto this light, which is super exciting for how versatile this 60X is. So super excited to have this for weddings. I think it's going to really help, you know, lighting receptions, events, and with the Bowens mount, I can use it as a key light if I'm in a pinch for corporate interviews and that kind of thing. So you get the Bowens mount, and then in the next pouch, you have the NPF battery. So these will host NPF 970, 950 batteries. Any of the NPF batteries can slide right in here. And then this mounts to the yoke, which we'll get to in a minute. But you have the adapter for that. You also get a pair of barn doors, which is a very sturdy metal. It seems tight on the outsides as well. And they also have side leaves, so I can show that here, that go in and out and just help further cut your light in the way that you want to. So if I want to have them all the way out, I can do that. Have more of a square. If I want a tighter cut, then I can push these in, and then it gives you a closer angle. So we'll mess with that. One thing I am noticing different between the Mini 20s and this barn door system is the insides is a metal, whereas on the Mini 20s it actually was covered with like a velvety felt to help kind of not reflect the light. So we'll see how those barn doors do. I might do another review on this once I start using it, of how well those work, but I don't see too much issues with the way this is. Pretty robust, and I think having the leaves being able to cut the light in and out is going to be a huge help with really being able to critique and shape the light in the way that I want it to. So not too concerned about that. And then next up we have the power adapter. This will go into the actual light. You have your fixture here, and it looks like it's in a case, kind of like an extra mount for the V-mount system. Again, to be able to mount right onto the yoke. One of the best things about this light is that it's so compact, and they made a great job of designing this to where it can mount right on the yoke and attach, whether you're doing the NPF pack or you're going straight to the adapter, or I believe D-tap, which I think is the next thing that we're going to be opening up. But yeah, so many versatile ways, just like the Mini 20s, being able to power off of V-mount batteries, NPF batteries, AC power. There's a lot of ways to power these things, which is great. When you're at an event, you don't have a whole lot of outlets, you can just put a V-mount on this and let it go for the event and not have to worry about anything. So that's super cool. One of my favorite things about the Mini 20s too. Yeah, so in the side pouch you get your very long power cable. And this, just like I showed in my unboxing of the Aputure MCs, they have just the little touches that they think about. The adapter here for the power cable to be able to plug in, and once you plug this into the adapter, it's not going to get pulled out. Someone isn't gonna come by, trip on it, or pull it out with their foot by walking over it. Like, this thing is locked in until you pull the button and actually lock it or unlock the system. So that's super helpful. Just peace of mind when you're doing your lighting. The worst thing that can happen in the middle of a shoot is your lights go out and then you have to reshoot everything. And sometimes you don't get that chance, especially with events. So very cool. Got your power cable here and your adapters. And then also your D-tap. So this goes into the light as well, and that can power off of a D-tap, so usually your V-mount will have something to plug into straight into the battery, and this goes into that, and then the other end plugs right into the light. So those are the accessories that it comes with and the ways to power it. And then we have this bad boy. And already, I just picked it up. This is the first time I'm picking this thing up, and it feels so much different than the Aputure Mini 20. As far as size go, they're actually about the same size, which is kind of surprising. I was thinking that in the pictures, when you're looking at it, this just looks a lot bigger. It is a little wider. If I can put it on there, you might be able to see how much of a difference it is with width. But man, the Mini 20Cs are plastic, and these are definitely all metal. I think Aputure says this has an IPF rating, or they're estimating a rating of IP54. So it can take water from any angle, and you're not going to have to worry about it being damaged. Whereas this, I would definitely not want to take out in the rain anywhere, or get caught in the rain, whether I'm at an event or something, filming with these things. The plastic is nice, and it's a thick plastic on the Mini 20s, but yeah, this is a lot more robust. It's got a very sturdy yoke, all metal casing, and just very well built. Comes with a plastic cover. We will be taking that off before we turn this on. And then the yoke seems very sturdy. A little, I think it's called a T-mount, I'm not really sure. Comment below what that mount actually is called. And then you have your buttons. You have a menu button here, your OK button here, which I'm guessing will do bicolor. We'll figure that out when we turn it on. And then your power button. And just like the Mini 20s, actually, you have the flood to be able to change the Fresnel lens all the way down to flood. And then you can crank this all the way up to spot as well. But very clean, very cool looking. Yeah, these are gonna be great. And then also on the side, you have that V-mount adapter for all of your attachments. So things like the NPF battery that we were looking into before, that just slides right on, locks in. And then when you go to unmount the V-mount, that is actually done on the other side. You have a button here that releases. So there's the button right on the yoke for that. Get a close up there. That pushes down and releases your V-mount. And then on the actual NPF batteries, you have these two buttons that are going to let you release your NPF batteries once they're mounted. All right, and that works the same way for your power adapter. I don't have a V-mount battery, but it's gonna work the same way. You have your yoke, you have your adapter, that's going to slide right in, and then once you're on a mount, you can have this swing over. It attaches to your cable, and you're ready to go. This thing's all compact right into one light, which is awesome. And I'm assuming this is much like the MCs too. So the way that your adapter works here is push in. So you're going to basically line up here, and then you're just gonna push it in. It snaps. It's a very satisfying snap. And then you're just going to twist and pull out to disconnect. But it looks like even here there's a little rubber seal. Again, these are pretty much not waterproof, but they're water resistant, and that is also in the cables, which is nice to know. It's not just your light, but it's your cabling and connections that are going to be able to withstand the rain and water or whatever you're throwing at it. As far as the Bowens mount goes, you have a swiveling, these three on the bottom mounts are static and not moving, while the one at the top, so I'm guessing if you pull up, you can swivel this one around, and that's going to let you slide in whatever mount you need, and then you can swivel it back over, and that locks in place, locks everything inside. So it lifts up and down here. When you pull on this tab, that's going to spring load and allow you to mount whatever you need. So for instance, with the Bowens mount adapter, when we go to put this on, just a matter of sliding this thing over, your adapter first, you're gonna slide your Bowens mount adapter in, and then you're just going to lift it up, swivel it around, and it locks in place, and that's not gonna go anywhere. So that's how it locks in place. And then you have your separate pulley that we showed before that's going to actually unlock the Bowens mount so that you can put in your soft boxes and things like that. Awesome, so we'll pack some of this stuff up, and then we'll get this thing on a light stand and just see how it works, how the attachments, I have a little soft box we can put on here to see how all that looks, and then go through kind of the menu system to finish this review off. All right, so now we got the Aputure on the stand. Let's go through the menu system and just see how to set up your Bluetooth. That's one of the first things that I did. And then we can get it all set up and ready to go. So the first option is you have flood and spot. That's going to open up the beam to wide or narrow depending on what you need. And then you also have your color temperature here. You have your intensity, so that's how bright your light is. The color temperature is the tone, the warmth or the coolness of the light. And then you have linear or whatever dimming mode you want. So when you're turning up your intensity, if you want to just be a steady, even like 1%, 2%, 3%, and have it be very even, that's linear. Basically, how do you want the dimming to react to when you turn the knob? And then it shows your battery life here, whether it's plugged into AC power, or if you have battery connected, how much life you have left. If it's over 2 hours, I think it says greater than 2 hours, just so you know, so it doesn't give you necessarily a very exact time, but it will tell you kind of in general idea of what you're working with. And that's about it. Real simple menu system. Again, if you want to change the color temperature, you can either turn the knob, and that will go up in 50 Kelvin, I guess, 50 Kelvin increments, and to be able to dial it by step, or you can hit the menu button and it'll go up in presets. Or sorry, the OK button, and that'll go up in presets. So you have 56, 65,000, 2,700, 3,200, 43, and then go back to 56. So it just loops through those presets. If you want to get there quicker, that's the way to do it. So going into the menu, first thing that I usually do whenever I get one of these Aputure lights is update the firmware and set it up with the mobile app. So in order to set that up, I'm going to go to the menu here. And when I open up Sidus Link, it's going to find all the existing lights that we have. So you see I have my 4 MCs behind me. Those are in blue. They're already listed into this system. So to add something, what we're going to do is first go to the menu. So if I hit the menu button here, I'll be able to dial through, and you're going to go to Bluetooth reset, hit OK, or hit menu, and then you're going to hit yes. It'll load. And then once that hits 100, I can go into my setup here. We're gonna hit add, new fixture. It comes right up, the Lightstorm 60x, that's the one we want. So we're gonna hit, or check that off, then hit setup. Then it'll run through, and there we go, pairing successful. Now you'll see that it's in my studio, and I'll be able to go in and control everything from the intensity of the light, as you see there. That's a little bright. Put that down to probably just 1% here. And the dimming curves, like I said before, so how it reacts when you increase the intensity. We'll get that back to linear, and then your color temperature settings that you want to use and set up depending on your scenario. So that's how you set up with the app. Now the rest of the menu system is pretty straightforward. You have things like studio mode. So studio mode is set as on with this light by default. So when you first get the light, if you have it plugged into a power source, what studio mode does, if it's activated, is turn the light on as soon as it receives power. So if you have this connected to a power strip or in a studio setting and you want to just turn all your lights on, you don't have to go around and manually click on the buttons. With the little, the mini 20s, that was a huge issue. We had to set up in a little studio, and every time we went to turn on all the lights, all of the mini 20s would have to be gone over to individually and push the power button. Not a huge deal, but when you're dealing with lights when they're mounted up real high or they're in awkward positions, you just don't want to be doing that all the time. It's a lot quicker to have this. So I'm really glad Aputure put that in there to just make it quicker and more efficient when you're running your lights in that kind of a mode. So studio mode is set or activated by default. You won't have to worry about that. If you want it off, you can go into the menu and turn it off. And then the other modes that we have here are your color temperature. So if we go into that mode by hitting menu, this is where you'll be able to access pretty much the same menu that you get from the start. Is when it first comes on, your linear mode, the color temperature intensity, and your battery life. If we go back to menu, there's also effects. I won't get into all these, but you have paparazzi, fireworks, faulty bulb, lightning, TV, pulsing, strobe, and explosion and fire. So you have a lot of different effects that you can run from the light itself without the app. If you have the app, you can use that to pre-program and do whatever effects you want to from the app as well. All right, and then we have the dimming curves, which I talked about earlier. You go into that. Again, you have the exponential curve, S curve, log curve, or linear, depending on how you want the light to ramp up. Again, our Bluetooth reset, studio mode. If you need the serial number for anything, you have that there to be able to differentiate your lights. The firmware version, again, I just updated mine on the app. When you go into your fixtures, if you right over on the menu, you can go right here to firmware update. It'll check and then tell you if you need an update or not. I updated mine right off the bat. So if we go in here, you'll see that I'm at 1.4. It started out as 1.0. So we have updated the firmware and now it's up to date. All right. And lastly, you can select your language. So we're gonna keep that at English. All right, so again, this is a Bowens mount compatible light. So right now we have the barn doors on that are able to control the way that the light's cut. It rotates all the way around. Makes a horrible noise when you do that, but usually you're not moving them around too much when you're filming. So you can open up, cut your light in any way that you want with the barn doors. I think they work really good. And then if we wanted to put the Bowens mount on, you'll see here that you can just slide that right in, same way as you did with the barn doors. And then we're just going to pop this over top. That locks in place. And then you can put something like a softbox if you have one of those, and that just plugs right in to the Bowens mount. Clicks, and then you're able to rotate, and then that mounts right on. So no problems with that. Put your softbox on here and continue to use the light that way. So again, this is one of the best things I love about this light is how versatile it is. Being able to put on a softbox, take off the softbox, and immediately put on barn doors. Use an Aputure lantern or any other modifier that you want. As well as just use it as a direct flood or spot light for events and those kind of things. So I see myself using this in a ton of different scenarios. This is going to be my go-to light when I'm taking it on sets and on locations. It's robust. It's not going to get damaged. If I'm throwing around, chucking it in the back of my car, everything's pretty durable with this. So I'm excited to get using it, and you're definitely going to see this light be used a lot in the future, whether that's product reviews, interviews, talking heads, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna see this light show up, and I'm excited to use it. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that with Aputure. So this is all my own opinion, first impressions of the unboxing, and just a really brief initial review. Hope you liked it. If you wanna know anything else about this light or what it can do or how I plan to use it, or any other questions about some other of the Aputure lights, I know I do have the MCs, the M9s, and have experience with the Mini 20s. So if you have any questions on those lights or how to use them in different ways, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do a video on them, or just comment back in the thread and start the conversation there. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, thought it was helpful, hit the subscribe button. There's gonna be a lot more product reviews like this and overviews of how I plan to use these in the future coming very soon. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.